Hey guys, back at it again on this Iron Maiden journey of album reviews that'll eventually be, lead up to the ranking. And as the cool thing is, as we've kind of gone through this, there's been some cool Maiden news going about with the new album Senjutsu being announced and the album cover with Samurai Eddie on it. You know, then of course the first single, The Writing on the Wall, which was incredible. Then we got the other single that came out today, which was another awesome one. I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head, but another awesome single. The album is coming so soon. I think at the beginning of, or mid-September. I know it's coming in September, and we're about near the end of August, so I'm super hyped for it. But anyways, now we're looking at this thing right here, which, this is a pretty controversial album. The 90s, Maiden kind of, to compare them to Priest, they both kind of had just some weird 90s stuff going on. With Priest, not really, the beginning of the 90s with Painkiller, but all throughout. Which Maiden kind of had the same thing going on as you saw with No Prayer for the Dying. But then you had this thing right here, which really love the album cover there. Eddie as like the tree and all that. And this is a big double album here on vinyl. This is actually probably the most rare Maiden vinyl I own. Original 1992 press here. Super cool. But you got a cool shot of the band back there. Yannick and, instead of Adrian Smith. But this would actually be Bruce's last album with the band for a little bit. For 8 years. So, he didn't take a decade off, but he damn near did. So he goes out with, in my opinion, he goes out with a bang. Because, like I said at the end of my last review, that some people either love or hate this thing. I love this album. I really do. And it does, I wouldn't say it's like, goes down as like one of Maiden, I don't think it's one I think of as like one of Maiden's main albums out there, but I think it's a great album. And, there are, Bruce on this thing kind of has a little bit of that gruffier voice thing going on, kind of like from No Prayer for the Dying, but not too much. Like he gets his classic vocal style mixed in there, the higher range and such like that, the kind of operatic style going on. So it's a really good blend of his vocal work here. But with that being said, we start off with Be Quick or Be Dead, a really fast opener, kind of what they're known for, kind of just kicking it right off. Like Aces High kicks off Power Slave. You've got Moonchild kicking off of Seventh Son, stuff like that. But this thing, Be Quick or Be Dead, this one actually had a music video. I think it was one of the singles off here. Really cool song. Then you've got one of my least favorites off here, From Here to Eternity. It's got kind of a, I don't know, it's got kind of like a, that chant thing going on during the chorus that I'm not too fond of. I mean, it's not the worst. I don't think it's a bad song. Like, it fits here on the record just fine. And, that's definitely probably my least favorite off of side one or disc or record one, because like I said, this is a double. This is a pretty bulky album. But yeah, that's probably my least favorite track off of side one or record one, whatever you want to call it. Then you end that first side of the first record with Afraid to Shoot Strangers. My God, that song, see, people, like, if people would dig into this thing and listen to like tracks like that, you hear that's like classic Maiden right there. Some abrupt, time changes going on, which are really cool. I love the kind of clean stuff going on, and then it just bam shoots off like a freaking missile going into that really, really cool riff. I love that song. That's one of the best freaking songs off here. And I know that's kind of a hidden gem, among Maiden fans. Some of them know out there how damn good that song is. Then side two of that first record, Fear is the Key. Another really, really cool, another really cool track. And this, you hear that word fear a lot. Not only is it in the name of the album, Fear the Dark, but you hear that word repeated kind of throughout the album. So this doesn't really have a core theme, like, or like a concept, kind of like, Seventh Son, or even like Somewhere in Time with a lot of futuristic themes, or Power Slave with Egyptian themes. This just kind of just does its thing. But I mean, there is several points where it's talking about different fears and stuff, but not. I wouldn't say enough to be like a consistent theme across the album. But yeah, that "Fear's the Key" is a really cool song. Then we've got oh man, I forgot how damn good this one was. "Childhood's End." That's another kind of. See, this one's got some ballady stuff that really it feels big though. Like they're pretty big songs, and that's one of them for sure. I love the powerful vocals Bruce has got going on during that, and the same with the final track to the first record. It's "Wasting Love." That is just another big power ballad that's got some really pretty stuff going on there. You know, as far as like I love the kind of acoustic thing they had going on, or 12. It may have even been a 12 string. Kind of hard to tell, but really cool. And you know, Yannick really gets to show off on this album a lot too. I thought I'd mention that. I mean, he was on No Prayer for the Dying, but there was just a lot of hit or miss tracks and not a lot of memorable solos. There are some on this thing for sure. Then you start off that second record, side one, with the Fugitive, kind of a big, you know, heavier track going on. And this is one of the rare cases where I think the, you know, the latter half of this album overall kind of takes the cake for like great stuff, but not to say the first, you know, portion of the album is weak at all, because as you just saw me talk about, there's just great stuff scattered throughout the top there. But yeah, "The Fugitive" is another really cool song, another kind of big feeling one, and just powerful drumming from Nico. Then you've got "Chains of Misery," which has such a... That one also kind of has that kind of, you know, anthem type thing, like the big background vocals during the chorus, but it works here. And the melody during that chorus is just, wow. That's a Maiden melody right there, and really cool riff going on there. "Chains of Misery" is one of my favorites off here, period. I love that one. That, you know, not too much gruffiness of the vocals from Bruce, but a perfect blend. That's a prime example of that blend there. Then you get the "Apparition," which is one of the heavier tracks off here, and I love how it just jumps right into it yet again. Another one like that. And this track's the closer of side one of that second record. But the "Apparition," I love kind of where then all the, you know, during the verses they'll kind of do the thing and then it'll stop, and then Bruce will just kind of have almost like a side comment of sorts during those verses, that vocally, and it's just really cool. I really love the "Apparition." Another one of my favorites. One of the heaviest tracks off here. Then side two to the second record in this double album is my favorite freaking song off here. I can easily say that. "Judas Be My Guide." That is a Maiden classic. That is such an underrated track, man. I'm telling you, people have got to listen to that one if you've not heard a lot from this record or have been kind of turned away because you hear Maiden 90s and you want to stay away. I get it. This is not one of the cases here. "Judas Be My Guide" is, I mean, I definitely regard that as a Maiden classic. The chorus, the solos, one of my favorite Maiden solos out there. And, you know, that may be controversial or whatever, but that's just how I feel about that. Love that song. Then you have another one of the weaker ones on this album, "Weekend Warrior." It's kind of, that sounds like a track that could be on No Prayer for the Dying. I would say "From Here to Eternity" does too. And that's not necessarily a good thing. They're kind of more commercially based. I do kind of like the acoustic parts or the softer guitar tone parts on a "Weekend Warrior." That's pretty cool, but I don't really like, the lyrics are a little corny. So that's one of my least favorites off here. Then you end it with everybody knows the title track, "Fear the Dark." Final track on this thing, and that is highly regarded by most by a Maiden classic. They play that during concerts, just about every single one, every single live show, and for damn good reason. It is a beautiful epic off here that just, people always know that song. They may not, even the people who've not listened to this album all the way through, they know that song from, you know, Maiden fans give that song its just desserts. So give it its due. That song is just incredible, from the clean part from the beginning to the epic riff that's going on, you know, that jumps in right after the clean vocals and clean guitar work. that's a legendary track by this legendary band, and I think this album's freaking great. Not any bad stuff on here, just some two tracks that are just a little not quite up to par with the rest of the album, but it's a great freaking album. I know it gets scooped in with those other 90s records because it came out in the 90s and they weren't overall that great in the 90s. But this is just this is different, all right? So if you've not really checked out or you just listen to No Prayer for the Dying and are going in order here or following along, you should definitely give this one a good thorough listen. It's a bit bulky. It's a double album. But my God, I've always really liked this album. Every time I listen to it, I love it even more. Like I'll, kind of like I was saying, I kind of forgot about how good Childhood's End is. On this return to this record here, on this listen, I was like, oh my God, like I forgot. So it was really cool to kind of revisit some of these deeper cuts on here. But overall, great album. Sadly, Bruce's last album with the band for a minute. So next time we'll be looking at the Blaze Bayley era, which you talk about controversy, that's it right there. The third vocal change for the band, and it's pretty big stuff. We'll get into that next time. I'm not going to promise I'm going to say the nicest things about that record, about those two records, but maybe on these revisit I may change my mind a little bit on it or something. I don't know. We'll see how that goes next time. But yeah, stay tuned, guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this album that's just not talked about a lot due to when it was released. Like, subscribe, comment, and thanks again, guys. I'm super hyped to be doing with this and super hyped to be getting more and more Maiden news as we truck along here. Thanks.